Hi, Sally Walker here, your hormone and slow age expert. So on my radio show the other evening where I was talking about trace elements, I got a question about how to measure iron levels. And it came from a lady who regularly gives blood. And at the donation centre, they always check and they do like a finger prick check of your blood, and told her that she was low iron. So this lady had never been low iron before, and she was a little bit concerned. She's roughly around the age of 60. So she was a little bit concerned. So she went to her doctor, and he did some testing, and he said, no, your iron's fine. So she's a little bit confused as to why the donation centre said she was low and why her doctor said she wasn't, and was asking, are there different ways to test iron? And there absolutely are. So at the donation centre, they will be testing hemoglobin. And hemoglobin is not a specific iron test. If you're low in your hemoglobin, you could be low in your iron, but you might not be, as this lady wasn't. So how do we test for iron? Okay, so this is really important. So I thought, well, I'll just run through this. So there are sort of 3 different ways or 4 different ways really for testing iron levels. And your doctor normally would do this. If you went for blood testing, then for testing for iron, then these ways would be checked. Okay, so there's one test called serum iron, and this measures the amount of iron in your blood, basically. Then there's one called serum ferritin, and this is the one which I like very much to get my clients to get this tested, because this measures the amount of iron which is stored in the body. So it will be stored in the protein ferritin, basically. So that is a protein. So it will be measured. And if you are low iron, you will be pulling iron out of your storage, okay? And then it would measure as being low. Now, I like this test because, one, it gives us an idea if the storage is low, and we would like it not to be below 50 units. Now, if it's below 50 units and you're not sleeping well, this might be one of the reasons why. Now, the other thing I like about it is if it goes high, so if you have a big storage of iron, this could also be an indication of inflammation. So there's lots of different ways to measure inflammation, and this is one of them, okay? So if your serum ferritin is very high, then it is possibly saying that you have inflammation in the body. And another thing, it's not good having a lot of iron. We need iron. It's absolutely essential. We do need it, but we don't want excess because it becomes toxic and it becomes like a free radical, and it will break down tissue. So we have to be very careful. So once we ladies are finished with our menopausal years and we're not having a bleed anymore, we don't get rid of our iron anymore. So we can, as men do all through life, we can possibly have a little bit bigger storage of iron. So we need to keep an eye on it. Well, whereas in our fertile years, it is actually one of the biggest deficiency worldwide, iron deficiency. Okay, so another way is that we can measure something called unsaturated iron binding capacity, and it's called UBIC. And this measures how much transferrin isn't attached to iron. So remember the ferrin I was saying is the protein which attaches to the iron. Well, we can also measure the transferrin, and we could also see how little iron is attached to it. So this would also give an indication. And then there's another test called transferrin saturation, and this measures the percentage of transferrin which is attached to the iron. So there are different ways that we can get a picture. But as I said, I like the serum ferritin. That's my favourite one for giving an indication of iron levels. So I hope you found that interesting. That was just a little bit extra about iron, because it is such an important, not to have too little and absolutely not to have too much of it. So have a little check with your doctor if you're concerned, and you'll see some of the symptoms down there for low iron. And funnily enough, the symptoms for high iron are pretty much the same as low iron. So yes, think about where you are in life. Are you still menstruating if you're a lady, or are you not menstruating, or are you a male? Then possibly you should keep an eye on not having too much iron. Okay, happy hormones, happy life.